coming.
We're referencing this, and then we're going to go to it.
Let's just see if we want to go out there. It's pretty, but it's 16 degrees. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be out there. There's a pond down there, and it's got ducks in it, and they're frozen in the ice. I'm kidding, kids. Morning, Daisy. Morning, my lovely wife. Mountain Camp brought to you by
Brio Technologies. They are your experts in lighting, sound, and
heating
video.
and air and vapor.
No.
And mist.
No.
And smoke
lighting,
effects.
sound, and video. Brio Technology. Audio, visual.
Oh, first of all, I'm going to shut
Look
the
at that.
door.
You can't even see the death-dealing inversion yet, which is definitely there.
16 degrees cold up.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Our nanny, and we called her our nanny because we pay her a lot. Because babysitter's like, some kid in high school. No, nanny. German descent.
I'm not sure a seller will appreciate that, but sure, go with it. Okay.
She was telling us something, and I hadn't even thought of this. The kids are out of school, right? And what are you going to do? They have, and I'm like the last one to know this, they have movie membership clubs.
I didn't know this either. I think
I
it's
didn't
great.
either. And she has a lot of time on her hands. And so what she's doing is she's paying like $10 a month. She gets to go to a movie every day. She can't go, they have limitations, like can't go to 3D movies.
And you can't go to the same movie more than once, which
Right.
seems really weird to me because I've repeatedly watched movies I love. But I think it's to keep, I guess, from you swapping your pass or something. Or,
I don't know. So
Anyway.
I just pulled one up at random, Cinemark. Okay, Cinemark.
Yes,
$8.99 a month, 20% off snacks.
Wow, that helps a little bit.
Well, it helps a
Because your popcorn is the big investment. That's the $25 investment. Maybe 30 or 40 if you're going for the jumbo popcorn. So.
Do you know is it a megaplex that we go to at the
Gateway.
Gateway? When you get your beverages, did you ever notice there is a dispenser for more of that butter-like liquid? You could add more.
Did you really do that sound effect? Because I will. No, don't. I can never
what it
eat it
tastes
now.
like.
Again. Why did you do that?
Because it's golden, delicious, non-butter stuff.
It's the golden flavored popcorn topping.
Oh, it's a topping.
The reason why you say that is that way you know it bears no actual resemblance to a dairy product. But it's still, I like it. I don't know why I'm sick, but I've always loved it.
like
I
it,
worked in a
don't
movie
you?
theater, so I've always loved it.
Did you always smell like popcorn?
Yes, I did. It was
I
very
imagine.
alluring to teenage boys. I got a lot of dates.
Nice.
Usually they wanted to go see a free movie, but I think it was really my personality.
And then they realized you were so expensive. We have experienced something new. The Christmas season keeps on giving in our house.
And we did this to ourselves. We have no one to blame but ourselves for this.
You can judge. Now, first of all, I'll say that this was just activated, this toy we gave our 6-year-old yesterday.
Can we lose the batteries yet?
Oh, look, she's having fun.
Do it again.
No, go ahead and do it. Look, she's just having fun. We got the batteries for her. And look, it's a crane game, and she gets to play. And you're thinking to yourselves, that is so fun.
Our Zoe is obsessed with crane games.
Yeah.
So we thought, why not give her her own?
Oh,
and then,
my gosh. We're good parents.
It's so fun because it's so cute. And
Now,
then
let's turn up the volume and play the other one. This is what it sounds like.
I didn't win. I didn't win.
yes.
I'm gonna
And
take.
it speeds up and it gets even more annoying if you don't get it in time. Because it's like
Look
it's
at-
an
she-
extra punishment.
She lost her tooth.
I know. She looks like a little jack-o'-lantern. She's
She
adorable.
does. All right.
Yeah, we deserve that.
if you are, who bought that?
By the way, did
Oh,
you know
you.
Lake Erie is now up to 61 inches from 53 since Christmas?
They had some snow. We're all talking about not having snow
Some
for
snow.
not having any snow for the skiing season here in Utah. And then if you go to Erie, there you go. They have lake effect from Lake Erie, just like we do from the Great Salt Lake. And so what has happened is that since Christmas Eve, they have received 60 inches of snow.
61 inches of snow. So if you want to measure this,
Think of the weight on the roofs.
you can actually use me. Are you ready?
Oh, no. Well,
The snow is
what
up
are you,
to...
4 feet?
I'm 5'6".
You're 4'8"?
I am 5'6". Don't be a jerk. The snow is now officially up to here. This is 61 inches. This is it.
So I'm 6'2". So, yeah, you're right.
So it's basically just slightly above nose level, meaning that I'm now
So-
smothering in the snow.
Imagine you own a Pomeranian
There's
or
no,
a Shih Tzu.
No. Honey, you could have a Great Dane and you're not going to find it in that.
They need snorkels.
Most of their freeways are shut down. No one can get out of the house, and the trouble is the first deluge fell so hard they couldn't even get it plowed before the next chunk fell. So now you're over 5 feet in,
And there's more on
and
its
there's
way.
parts that they haven't done yet that they're like, you're going to stay like that till spring. We're really sorry.
And the trouble with, and I've been in a bad one in Denver, in a city, and in Boston this happened, you have to pick the snow up. You got to put it in a truck.
Yeah, you can't push it because there's nowhere to push it.
You'll kill people if you push it.
Yeah.
And in Boston, what they did is they picked up all the snow and they took it out and they dump it in the harbor and they make this iceberg. And as it melts, there's shopping carts. There were fire hydrants. There were post signs.
Really?
There were chunks of cars. And as it melted, it was like, oh, look, it's a Buick.
That's pretty much what they're looking forward to now near Lake Erie.
I kind of like dramatic weather, and I really like to be there, kind of like this, being prepared, dude. But anyway.
Storm of the century. That's all he's living for.
Storm of the
That is
century.
all Todd is living for.
Senator Hatch.
This was very interesting.
And the Trib, wow.
Well, we both initially commented on it that the Salt Lake Trib had nominated Senator Hatch for Utah of the Year.
Front page.
Now you're thinking, oh, wow, Utah of the Year. Well, it was not a compliment. And if you haven't read this, they stated things often get misunderstood, so lest our readers or their honoree himself get the wrong impression, let us repeat the idea behind the Salt Lake Tribune's Utah of the Year designation. After explaining what the title was not giving for, it explained what it was given for. Hatch is part of the dramatic dismantling of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante monuments.
Right.
His role as chairman of the Senate Finance Committee in passing a major overhaul of the nation's tax code, his utter lack of integrity that rises from his unquenchable thirst for power.
Okay.
It was a pretty harsh editorial.
But it came off as a winning comment, Orrin Hatch said.
Orrin Hatch said, thanks so much. He said, great editorial from the Salt Lake Trib lauding our tax reform efforts. So
So
we
he
were all
didn't-
unclear whether he had read
He didn't read it.
he'd read the article before
Yeah.
tweeting out that he was humbled and honored in one tweet to have received it.
Ouch.
So
Oh, you know, the Onion satirical website, and they said that Un was one of the handsomest men in the world.
Kim Jong-un, yeah.
Yeah, and he thought
Leader
it was,
of North Korea.
thought it was real.
And he actually had all of the state newspapers in North Korea publish it and talk about what an unspeakably attractive man he was. And no one had the heart to tell him that The Onion is a satirical website, because if you're busy killing most of your close relatives, you're assuming you don't want to be the one telling that guy anything negative
Right?
ever. So yeah, that pretty much, yeah.
Nice haircut, though.
There's been many compliments.
Let's talk about YouTube stars for a second, because you know a lot of people know about some and other people don't. But the people, what kind of size are these people as far as how many subscribers and so?
They are at a level so massive now that any logical savvy like new movie or like Sharknado was especially good for this. A lot of the new the Dancing with the Stars, a lot of these different shows are now pulling YouTube stars as part of their deal, because
big they
millennials
are.
watching YouTube more than they're watching regular television. Casey Neistat, I love him. He is one of our favorites. We actually caught him first because he got upgraded to first class on a Air Jordanian airplane. And
Right.
these things are unbelievable. So he had
Oh,
this
is this the
really,
guy?
yeah, cool, groovy music, and he was there going, and it was showing like the incredible shower that you could take in his beautiful bed.
His
and
feet came up
computer console.
above his head.
I mean, it was such a funny video.
He
So
was
we started
freaking out.
following him. But this guy's insane. He's from Milwaukee, and he has millions upon millions of viewers. But he did something really fun. He partnered with Samsung, and then he pulled all these kids from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Great Milwaukee, which is a really tough area right now financially.
This is like a dream come true for me. Listen what he did.
Well, I love this. He said, I could see all of my childhood fantasies manifesting. And he's a sweetheart because what he did, he says, it turns out that Milwaukee has a fantastic, huge, empty shopping mall.
Closed down in
Because-
2003.
So basically, they completely turned this into this big winter wonderland, put all of these kids in there, and they had all kinds of different electronics. They showed them how to get creative with digital media. They give these kids all these different options and free downloads and apps to try to help them get involved. Casey and Paul Lays of Samsung gave the kids smartphones, microphones, accessories so they could learn how to create videos. And he tore around and he was showing to all the kids how to do this stuff. And there was a gingerbread house, ice skating rink. He even had a sledding hill with professional snowboarders who performed their tricks on the escalators.
Escalators.
How cool is that? And so he was so excited to do this. And you see these adorable kids.
Oh my gosh.
And look at their
them.
faces are like, this is the coolest thing ever. And he said it was the most fun thing he's ever done. But you take a look at that, how amazing that is. Even fake snow. The thing that cracks me up, I'm sorry, but the professional snowboarders down the escalators just kills me. Isn't that amazing? What a creative idea.
And these people are of the size that
Look at their faces.
look at all the decorations
No,
he
but
did.
seriously, look at those kids' faces. They're all freaking out completely. He even had a little train they could go on. But and the way he approached this, I thought
Good job.
was so good because his strength. Oh, look at the kids high-fiving the snowboarders. Because his strength is because he creates videos and he creates these amazing, slices of life, and so it made sense that that's what he was teaching the kids. This is stuff that you can create. You can do all of this.
Oh my gosh, you can do good things with the internet. Imagine that.
Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. He's holding a gigantic candy cane. They ice skate and the kids had a sledding hill. I just think that's
My
amazing.
fantasy of an empty shopping mall is go-kart races, but maybe that's next year.
I think that's much cooler. I got to be honest. All right, we got to go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Utah Credit Approval. Bad things happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track, and you can get a reliable auto. Give them a call, 801-921-9819. And by always Black Friday, it's a brand new store up in Ogden with ridiculously good prices, 30 to 70% off every day. I got Todd's $400 Christmas present for less than $100 there. Also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where John is waiting to check on your winter heating elements. That would be your furnace and normal talk. And make sure that you save hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Give them a call, 801-652-4755. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Good morning, everyone. Here's what's making headlines Wednesday, December 27th on GephartDaily.com. A fist fight between two men near the intersection of 400 East, 600 South took an unexpected turn Tuesday night when one of them jumped behind the wheel of a Jeep Liberty and ran the other man down. Police told Gephardt Daily the incident happened around 10 p.m. When officers arrived, they found the man who had been hit by the Jeep along with a number of auto parts strewn on the ground. Witnesses said the injured man was pinned beneath the vehicle as the Jeep drove off. He was rushed to a nearby hospital with minor injuries. Police said as the Jeep's driver tried to escape, he drove into a guide wire, leaving pieces of the vehicle behind. After a bit of searching, officers found the Jeep not far from where the incident took place. Officials told Gephardt Daily they had identified the Jeep's owner, but did not necessarily believe he was involved in the fight. As of Wednesday morning, no arrests have been made. Police say a woman was critically injured after her scooter hit a car in Murray on Tuesday. The accident happened in late afternoon at the intersection of State Street and 5900 South. The woman was transported to a local hospital in critical condition, but later stabilized. Police say their investigation into the accident is continuing. And police say an uncleared windshield played a factor in a car crashing and catching fire in Orem early Tuesday morning. The accident happened when a motorist tried to cross 800 North, but crashed into the concrete median because she couldn't see. Unfortunately, things didn't end with the crash. Seems the car ended up with a hole in its gas tank, which quickly resulted in a fire. The driver was unhurt, but the car was a total loss. Time now for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by our most excellent sponsor at Brio Technologies, Utah's #1 audiovisual specialists. Well, our white Christmas has given way to a nice blue-gray inversion, and it's going to stay that way, at least for a while. We'll see some minor clearing later today as a weak front moves through the state, but the haze will be back in a matter of hours. Highs for the rest of the week will be in the upper 30s to mid-40s. Nighttime lows will hang in the 20s. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to gebhardtdaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Daisy. All right, so I want to tell you about All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, and this is the thing. It's 16 degrees today. Counting on your furnace. Is it running correctly? Is it running efficiently? One thing that John told me over at All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air is, and I didn't know this, and how old am I? You need to change your furnace filter every 30 days. I did not know this. So what you might want to do over the next couple of days, and this is his tip to you so you can, avoid any problems with your furnace, is go down and pull it out, see the number on it, go down to Ace or wherever you shop and pick a couple up and then bring them home, put them in, and then you're done. But if it's something more serious, then you need to call them. A lot of times, we talked about this last week, a lot of times it's a flame sensor. It could be a small diode. It could be a small thing in there that it's just like a matter of getting in. They got the part in the truck and boom, they're gone, and you don't have to worry about anything. They also have deals going on if you want to change out your furnace and become more efficient, and you can save up to $3,200 right now. Give them a call, allutahplumbing.com or 801-652-4755. All right, so you're going to tell me something good?
Tell me something good. It's brought to you by Always Black Friday. It's the new store we've been telling you about in Ogden, where they have 30 to 70% off every day. Although I think your present was much better even than that, maybe 80%.
I'm ready for a tell me something good.
This is pretty cool. Sophia Reed's 13-year-old son, Darius, who went missing last week.
What?
Now, this is, as you can imagine, unbelievably terrifying. This is Oklahoma City, and a lot of African-American kids go missing there every year. So if your kid doesn't come home,
it's a big deal.
You wig out.
It always is a big deal.
It's always a big deal, but based on where they're at, this is a pretty terrifying thing. After he'd been gone for several hours, she called the police. Well, Darius was actually run to earth by a couple of police officers, and they said, "Son, your mom's freaking out. What have you been doing?"
Right.
And he said, "Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." He says, "I've been out looking for collectibles. I've been looking for like cans and stuff that he could turn in for recycling and make some money."
Oh, okay.
He and his siblings have been trying to earn some money to buy their mom a Christmas gift because they've had a really hard time. She had to, do a security deposit, 1 month's rent, last month's rent on their new apartment, and they really had no money. But he said it didn't matter. We got a place to live. He said, but he says my mom works like 3 jobs, and she really needs a Christmas present. And so
they tried to give her a heart attack.
And so he came home with the money he'd made from recycling. Said, "I'm really, really sorry, Mom. I didn't know." The officers on duty were so touched by this that the guys went back to the precinct. And because these people are squisharts, and God knows police officers do not make anywhere close enough money for what they do.
Right.
But they all pitched in, and they raised over $800 so they could buy toys and supplies and gifts for the whole family. Isn't that the sweetest thing ever?
Nice. But kids, don't do that to your parents.
I know. Darius was just trying to help. He was a sweetheart. But, yes, giving your mom an early heart attack kind of negates the whole Christmas present. But I thought it was beautiful.
The next gentleman that we're going to talk about, I think, is a genius.
Tell me.
I think it's once in a while you come across an idea that you just go, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." I'm going to show you the picture now of his Christmas decoration.
Okay.
Please take a look.
That is really funny.
Oh my!
It seems more like Halloween, but yeah.
Oh my gosh! So he's got a dummy. Oh my gosh! So after the police came by 8 times. I kid you not.
Oh no, because I'm sure everybody kept calling, going, "Oh my God, this guy's just holding on by his fingertips.
Fire
He's
department,
gonna die."
Fire department showed up. Everyone is laughing except for the fact that it's a fire department. They got other stuff to do. And he said, "Yeah, I'll take it down." But that, my friends,
That is really
brilliant.
creative. I mean, even the way he's got the ladder angled in one
I know,
place, desperately holding onto it. He did a really good job.
And I was trying to think if there's another way to do it. We could actually get away with it. And the only thing I could think of was elves. If you did elves with the curly shoes, right?
No, even then
the
someone's like,
hats,
oh my God, there's a
little-
child holding.
That's right.
No, you can't win. It would be even worse. You can't.
That's so funny.
But it just reminded me of Halloween, of all the decorations that we've seen that people freaked out and called police, and it's like,
Hanging
nice.
people and junk like
You don't
that,
often
yeah.
get that at Christmas. That's like, well played.
This is true.
Well
All right.
played, sir.
We want to thank everybody. By the way, we're coming up on the new year, and we've had a great year because of you.
Thank you so much.
And you've been watching and you're supporting us, and we appreciate that because we know how annoying we are most of the time.
And the wonderful commentary on Facebook and how we have this amazing community.
Can I say something about that really quick? Sometimes, like in the feed that you're talking on Facebook with, sometimes go, oh, that was so funny, but I don't know what you're talking about. They go back to read it, but there is a timestamp, so I can go back and do it.
That's it. You can find out if there was a time we actually were
Maybe
funny.
if you want to say that was funny, that thing about the thing.
150 pounds.
What?
The weight gain is accelerating as you're going into the second half of your life, and they're starting to freak out about it with doctors. Well, they've come up with some different options that are really interesting, and one of them involves shelter pets. See, taking, for example, this gentleman, he's from San Jose, and he just doesn't even leave his apartment anymore except for when he's working because he's gained so much weight. He said, every part of my body hurts. My cholesterol is 400.
What?
He's 340 pounds. He used to weigh 180 pounds.
So even walking is hard. I mean, just getting around.
So it's brutal. And so he was talking to the doctor. He's like, I have tried everything. The doctor said, this is what we're going to do. I want you to go down to the shelter. Now, this is a medical doctor with like 40 years experience. And he said, why am I going to the shelter? He said,
Right.
you're going to pick out one of the fat dogs. He says, go pick up one of the chubby dogs.
What?
And he goes, why?
Do we have a picture?
We do. And so he went down to the shelter. He picked up one of the chubby dogs, and he said, this is my only prescription. And he even wrote it out on his pad. He said, you're going to walk the dog twice a day, before you go to work in the morning and when you come home at night.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the guy's like, and here's what they found. He lost 150 pounds. His cholesterol dropped. Everything dropped, and this all happened within a year. But what they were finding is people who could not lose weight for themselves or get an exercise program and take care of themselves, they would do it for their pet. Because they would see that the pet needed the health, and they needed their walks, and they needed the stimulation, and so it became an emotional and moral obligation for these people
That's a great
that they had
idea.
to take care of their animal, even if they couldn't take care of themselves. And what they found, as they went through this process, that these people began to get the emotional stability again from their pets, that unconditional love.
Right.
And then the obligation of love and of exercise turned into changing their weight patterns and helping them become healthy again too. And it was really interesting. He said, I never realized this, he says, but I actually decided to live again for my dog.
Oh.
He says, because I didn't think I was worth it. He said, but for the dog thought I was. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
And so what they're finding is doctors all across the country are recommending people go in and adopt a shelter pet.
That's crazy.
And it's interesting because my sister Julie actually works at the Humane Society, and she said she's seen the same phenomena there.
Now we just meet a bunch of fat dogs.
I know that's the sad thing because you're like, I've got to save the dog.
Right.
So they're like shoveling food into their mouth. Hurry up, you more.
Eat more. They're
You're more
coming.
adoptable when you're heavy. Come on.
Come on, do it. Interesting
I just
story.
thought it was an interesting. That's a new recommendation though that you will actually see on prescription pads from medical
so
doctors
funny.
now. I thought it was cool.
I'd like to answer a question on Facebook. It says, Todd, what's all the coughing about? Are you dying? The answer is yes. So anyway, Erin, I have a question for you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Question for you. Is binge watching your shows, is that a disease? Okay. Is eating the Hershey's Chocolate Kisses Christmas version, is that a disease?
No, that's an addiction.
That's an addiction. They have now decided that there is a disorder for gamers.
No, it's gaming disorder. The mental health community has now named it an official emotional disorder, like alcoholism or depression or, yeah.
You going with that?
I understand why they're doing it because they're saying that it gives the emotional rush and the same addictive pull of a lot of other things like other addictive elements like alcohol or different things like that. They're putting it under the same designation.
This is like the University of Oxford and stuff
So
like
it's
this.
pretty good. Yeah, it's like a fancy one.
I don't know if I buy it.
You don't think gaming obsession is a disorder? Have you seen some of these people?
They're saying it's a disease, not a disorder. Look, what's that word? Disease.
International Classification of Diseases. It's a diagnostic manual. Yeah.
So what about the people who have cancer?
They have a disease.
They have a disease.
Yes.
So they made no decision about getting cancer or getting sick. None.
Well, I don't
Had
think
nothing
people
to do with it.
I don't think people make a decision with almost any addiction. It's not like you say, I've now made a decision to become an alcoholic.
Right.
You don't say, I have made a decision to become a gaming, addiction to gaming. I mean, it's just what it does.
It's just weird to me. It takes some of the responsibility off you, doesn't it? It just doesn't make you feel weird at all.
Well, it's the same fight that they have with a lot of different things, drug addiction and alcohol addiction.
Right.
Because what you're saying is that I don't think you're taking away responsibility from people, but what they were saying is people who have these diseases have a brain chemistry that designates towards that problem.
Right.
It defaults towards it. So you are still working with a portion of the brain with brain activity that you can't necessarily control. And once you give it the certain stimulus that sparks it into life and then leads it into the cycle of addiction,
Right.
you're dealing with something that's greater than yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't control it and
Right.
you can't stop yourself and recover from an addiction. But what it's saying is this may be spiraling you down without you fully understanding what's happening.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons where we talk about families where you know that there's an addictive element that runs through the family, or you see multiple uncles and aunts with different addictions towards drugs or alcohol or whatever, then you know that you might be genetically predisposed to this.
Yeah.
So this is something that you have to be more careful about.
The only way I can relate to it is a long time ago, many years ago, I bought 4 arcade games, the full-size ones. They were...
You had Miss Pac-Man, didn't you?
No.
Regular Pac-Man?
No, because that's a stupid game. I had Asteroids Plus.
Oh, well, that's different.
And I have to tell you, I didn't even know what day it was. I'm not allowed to have a gaming system, and this is something I've put on myself.
See?
Is because I would go and I know I'd play it, and the next time I came out of the basement, Zoe would have graduated from college.
You had one low-key, I don't even think it was a Nintendo. You had one year when we were first married, and then you just sort of gave it away. You said, we don't need to have that anymore.
Yeah, it would be...
I mean, you even knew where it was taking you.
It was dark, the
So
dark
see?
side.
So see, I would think that you would be more understanding
so.
towards this as a disorder.
Maybe so.
It doesn't take away responsibility, but it shows you there's an element of your brain chemistry that can pull you down that path before you know what's happening.
All right. Oh, did you hear the reports
Of?
of another record-breaking consumer spending Christmas season thing?
I think they said it was the biggest in, was it 8 years?
It's the biggest ever.
Biggest ever?
Ever.
Wow.
Yeah, ever. What were people buying? First of all, let me say this.
And this was online, right? You're talking about online?
No, everything.
Everything?
Yeah, and
Oh,
once
wow.
again,
Okay.
the brick and mortar stores took in the shorts. But I still understand. One of the items that was kind of hot on Amazon was a programmable pressure cooker.
Oh, yeah. It was one of the top 5. It was super popular, but you know what number 1 was?
Yeah, put that back up.
Put it up.
This is it.
It was the Echo Dot. That was the top-selling Amazon device. Top-selling product available from any manufacturer across all categories on Amazon.com. Millions sold. Now, it's like Amazon's newer Alexa-enabled devices, the Echo Spot, Echo Dot, Echo Buttons,
Right.
all sold out, and it's pretty interesting. It's. I guess I've never fully understood the logic of the Dot, but it is designed basically to help you run your household.
You don't have to walk. Mm-hmm. You don't have to get up, make
You
the
can
old
just
man
shout
noise.
commands, and that's really
Yes.
nice. It's kind of like that small slave-like creature we've all secretly hoped for. It's
But
like
it
your
listens-
electronic wife.
But it listens to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like,
Yeah, you can program it.
Zoe, get me something, and
The Dot can't actually get
No.
you anything. But if you said, turn the lights on here, or you turn the lights off there, or turn off
Right.
the TV, or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does all those
so
things.
it comes with a bunch of other stuff that you put around
Remind
your
me
house.
that we're out of milk. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
Yes.
you're crazy.
Yes.
That's why we don't.
You can do it where you can go out the house every day, and it gives you a reminder list of all the things that you're supposed to remember.
But you have to put in what you're out of.
Well, yeah, you wander around as you're doing stuff throughout the day. You go, oh, crap, I've got that
Need
appointment
more
tomorrow. Don't let me forget. Stuff like
Okay.
that. Yes, it's like your nice electronic wife.
It nags you.
In a really nice way, though.
Sure.
In a soothing voice.
Nice.
That's
All right.
amazing.
Hey, so coming up, Hollywood. We're going to talk about that. The trailers are out for some new ones, some new films.
Here's what's really, really funny.
And that's coming up, by the way.
There's trailers, but there's also a couple of brand new ones that you will not believe that are already in the top 5.
What?
We'll tell you about it next. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink and McGregor, also by The Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with The Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. And they also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple of years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something, though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink and McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down, though, if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
Hollywood Connection, it is brought to you by Connect Heating and Air. Do you know they have both residential and commercial divisions of Connect Heating and Air? They can fix everything, anywhere, at any time.
I don't understand this. Most viewed, not movies.
No, most viewed movie trailers. Now, don't you remember when Avengers Infinity War came out and I was freaking out and I watched it like 827,000 times?
Yes.
Well, I put it up on Facebook and you also watched it 827,000 times. There were over, I think there was 3,000 shares on it because that's how you get excited. That's how you start getting into it.
It is more convenient to watch those than the entire movie.
Very often you can see the entire
actually
movie.
see these, yeah, as opposed to.
Well, Star Wars The Last Jedi was number 1. That's kind of a given. You know it's already cracked 800 million at the box office. It's going to go to $1 billion within the next 5 days.
I think it's a fad. I think it's a fad.
Just momentary. Well, of course, so Star Wars The Last Jedi was number 1 at the for all most viewed movie trailers this year.
Right.
And because, you know, it's got all the cool graphics. Number 2 was Avengers Infinity War. And one of the big buzzes with this, of course, with Avengers Infinity War was that, number 1, Captain America's got a beard, so that was really exciting. Number 2, the Titan comes and he's going to kill and eat all of us, and he's getting all the Infinity Stones.
What else?
So that was kind of depressing. Number 3 was really interesting. It was Triple X Part 3, Xander Cage. And the big thing about this is that
I don't know what this is.
Vin Diesel is back.
Oh,
as
it's one of
Xander.
those movies.
And
okay.
so
Yeah.
it was kind of, yeah.
Anything else?
That was number 3 though, and it hasn't even come out. That comes out this weekend, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Well,
that
hence
it
the
already hit
trailer.
that big. And then of course number 4 was Thor. This was Ragnarok, which is kind of like a given. This is when his big sister Hela shows up, and she's not in a good mood at all. So she kills his hammer, and that sucked.
All right.
And it was pretty good. Yeah.
All right,
So
so
that was in the top 5. I thought that was amazing.
Coming up, if you are a selfie addict, if you think that selfies rule your life, we have something
Well, and as they should.
just for you, and that's coming up after information.
And of course, Daisy is in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom, and she is brought to you by Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. All you have to do is go to fink-mcgregor.com. If you want to fill out like a quickie 4-minute mortgage quiz, it'll tell you all the stuff you're open for, and then someone calls you back within the next business day. Also by The Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, sign up for a consultation at the Riverton office. That's where I went, and it is absolutely amazing. and you can get rid of your varicose veins without pain, and your legs can actually look the same age as the rest of you. And of course, by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making national and world headlines Wednesday, December 27th on Gebhardt Daily. British military officials became alarmed on Monday after seeing what they said amounted to aggression, with Russian warships moving through the North Sea. The Royal Navy said it escorted the Russian vessels through the sea after they passed near British territorial waters. The incident came amid what British officials say is an upsurge in Russian vessels traveling through London's territorial waters. Missing parts of Christmas and New Year with our families is never easy, but it's absolutely required as part of our duty to keep Britain safe all year round, Chris Ansell, commanding officer of HMS St Albans, said. Christmas Eve saw some particularly exciting and bumpy weather, with some of my newer sailors getting used to their sea legs, but we have made sure the job was done, and I will get my team back home as soon as possible. Although Russia is allowed to sail through British and international waters, according to the law of the sea, the recent upsurge is seen by some as intentionally provocative. Several North Korean defectors who live near the North's main nuclear test site have shown symptoms of possible radiation exposure, although South Korean specialists say it is hard to determine whether they were affected by nuclear tests. The South Koreans announced the results of a 54-day medical checkup and tests for radiation exposure on 30 former residents near the North's nuclear test site. All defectors who were screened had left the country after the North's first nuclear test in 2006 and arrived in the South before the fourth test in January last year. And finally, the Federal Communications Commission on Tuesday approved the first wireless from a distance charger that doesn't need to make contact with the device to charge its battery. The California-based startup that developed the Watt-Up midfield transmitter said the FCC certification marks a significant milestone for the consumer electronics industry. Their devices charge batteries by sending power via radio frequency energy at a distance of up to 3 feet. It can even charge multiple devices at the same time. And time again for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by Always Black Friday in Ogden. Well, now that we've had our white Christmas, the nasty grey inversion is setting in. We'll see some momentary cleansing when a weak storm pushes through the state Wednesday, but after that, the haze will be back. High temps the rest of the week will hang in the 30s and 40s, and overnight lows will be down in the 20s. Chance of precipitation is just about zero. That's it for now. For more news from across the nation and around the world, go to GebhardtDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy. Black Diamond Experts, and now I've told you about these guys before. The reason they are called experts is because they are experts in pretty much everything that runs in your house.
They're experts.
Don't start. It's true, though, because, I mean, if it's electric, plumbing, heating, and air, these are the guys you call because they're the ones who know how to fix this stuff. They're licensed, they're bonded, they're insured. They come into your house, they go, oh, that's the problem, I can fix that. Here's the bid. You go, will you please do that now? That would be great. Imagine not having to have a bucket underneath your dripping faucet for the next 6 months. Imagine that you found out that you just saved $300 in heating bills this winter because they said, oh, you know what, if we do this and this, then your furnace works at top efficiency. This is what they do. And the nice thing about it is once the bill is there and it's what they quoted you, it's exactly what they quoted you. There's no surprises, there's no last minute charges because they hate that too. So you're going to pay what you expected to pay. And for me, that's a really big deal. So you know that list you have of all the people you call when things go wrong? Throw in these guys. They'll be able to help you out. They also have a brand new shop now in Ogden, so that's going to help you out too. BlackDiamondExpert.com.
You know, before we move on, listening to Daisy talk about North Korea, right? The citizens up there. I have this horrible thing about the fact that I wish they knew that we weren't Satan.
Monsters.
And that we could help them and get them more information and they could live a great life and not be... I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's interesting.
I feel that every time I see this now, it's like I have such compassion for them.
I mean, your heart hurts for these millions of people who have led just immeasurably miserable lives, and they've seen this from the soldiers who have defected, and the unimaginable amounts of like intestinal parasites and hepatitis. And
that's with the military, and then all the families.
You were considered the elite because it's a military state, so you would think they would get the best of everything.
And then all the people in South Korea, a lot of them families and stuff like that, and they're just want them to get that information, and I don't know. It makes me really sad.
It's heartbreaking, though, if you see a couple of the Western documentaries where they've actually allowed them to go in, and they talk to the kids.
It's a guy
and
on
the kids,
CNN that's got in more than anyone else.
and they talk to the kids who are playing war games the way kids will, and they're talking about killing the Americans because they're told from birth the Americans are out to kill them and hurt them, and they want to destroy their lives.
And the guy looks at the kid, and the kid's like this tall. And he said, because they're playing a video game, right? And he said, well, I'm an American. Would you shoot me? And the kid looks him right in the eye and doesn't miss a beat and just goes, yes, I would. And there's such a world waiting for them.
Well,
Such
the
a
thing
world
that they
waiting
found,
for
though,
them.
with people who have actually managed to defect is they had to put them on suicide watch because it becomes that overwhelming that everything you were ever told was a lie.
Was a lie.
That you never knew any of these things were available to you, like clean water and health care and the media and the vast potential of all the things in the world you could see. And it was so overwhelming to them that they had been fed that lie their entire lives. It took them a long time to recover.
Take you back another decade, when Russians first were allowed to come to the United States, and I think
During
it was
the Cold War,
I think it was with a church or something. And anyway, it was here in Salt Lake City, and they brought their visitor from Russia, and they walked him into a Smith's grocery store, and the guy broke down, crying, because he looked out and he was like, "What? All this food?" Anyway, I digress.
It was interesting. There was one girl who her family was able to emigrate here. Was when I was in high school, and we were talking about that. And I said, "So what's the weirdest thing you brought from Russia?" She said, "We were told that there wasn't laundry soap here, that it was really expensive."
Right.
She said, "We wasted an entire suitcase
On laundry
for
soap.
laundry soap." She said, "I could have brought like childhood mementos. I could have got all this stuff, but that's what they were told. This is very impossible to get in the States."
funny.
Isn't that sad?
Oh my gosh!
All right, well, moving on.
I was worried about this.
How so?
Well, because it's like when people get set on something, especially with sci-fi.
Well, you have to remember that there's been 12 doctors now for Doctor Who. This started back in the 1960s in
Right.
England, and Doctor Who, of course, is the worldwide phenomenon now.
I remember the guy with a big fro kind of thing and the long scarf.
But it's they've always had amazing ones, but this is time now. Jodie Whittaker is the first female Doctor. She's the 13th Time Lord, and she showed up on the Christmas special this week, Twice Upon a Time.
Right.
And the buzz is huge. Everybody likes it. And she was, poor Jodie, she's really good about it. And she's like, I know, I'm number one, but I'm also replacing one of your favorites, and I get it.
They're
She
always
said,
their favorite.
but she says, I promise you're going to like the show. It's going to be good. And it was an amazing crossover episode when
Right.
they switched it over from him to her. But she's absolutely adorable. If you've never seen her in an interview, she's really funny. She's quirky. She's really interesting.
See, the doctor's walking
And
along.
so
You're
it's a
going,
big
what?
build-up.
Wonder what the guy looks like.
And then,
Looks like a woman.
well, it looks like a key, actually. But now
Yeah.
it looks like a woman.
Oh my gosh. Here's the question I had.
Jodie Whittaker. Isn't she adorable?
Oh, she's
Look
boss.
at her.
Yeah, look at her.
It was a great episode.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times trolls will be out there. It's like, oh, it's always a man. Oh, that's all we want is a man, or like this. And we saw that in Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, the new one that came out, hilarious. Loved it. Thought it was a lot of fun. Homage to the old one. It was great and
Mm-hmm. It was
had a great
beautifully
time.
crossed over,
but
yeah.
online, they freaking trashed it.
Yeah, the misogynistic trolls trashed it because they didn't think there should be a female-led Ghostbusters.
And they said that it actually affected.
Oh, we know it trashed the movie. I mean, it trashed the box office. They had much bigger sales on DVD and aftermarket, but yeah. No, this one I'm not worried about. There was great buzz from Sunday's show, so she's going to be adorable. This was really cool. I love this idea. BYU is actually helping people who are stuck with debt collection lawsuits.
You know what's so fun about this is the average debt, when you go into debt and the collection agency gets it, is $200. It's $200, but the fines and stuff just rattle up as soon as a collection agency gets it.
Double, more than triple, and it's usually medical bills.
You don't know what the rule is. You don't know how to do it. What's the court thing? Where do I go? What's up? What are my rights? And I just think it's really cool. So the BYU students have stepped up and they said, okay.
J. Reuben Clark Law School.
Right.
And they took a group of students, and they're actually working with a Salt Lake City attorney, Kimball Parker. And so what they're doing is they're working on technology solutions that can help with legal assistance free of charge. So they're actually working now on developing apps and stuff where people can go online and then get help from these students. But they're meeting with debt collection services now. They're meeting with people who are going through the process. And they're finding out there's 70,000 cases here in Utah. And a lot of them are for as low as $100 to $200.
Right.
Like maybe an unpaid medical bill or something you just can't quite afford.
Tires for your car.
And then it starts to double and then quadruple and then so on for all of the debt collection fees. And people are spending even more because they don't understand their legal rights during the process.
Right off the bat, they go. You're taking a small claims court. If you don't go, you are found. You owe the money. And
automatically.
and it's automatically done. And then, they put, anyway, they take your hide.
Well, this is one of the things that is kind of unfair because the system, they think, is very frightening. The collector can throw in the lawsuit, and if you don't respond within 21 days, and maybe you're like, I don't have an attorney, I don't know what to do.
So you're out.
Maybe you just ignore it because you're overwhelmed. Whatever they posted there, it can be $100 bill, but they can say that it's $1,000 with all of our administrative costs now and everything, and whatever the judge defaults to is what you have to pay, and that's the part where they're starting to fight, where they're going, okay, there has to be like a limit of what you're doing there,
right? And I gotta
because
tell
that
you,
really is. I mean, that's predatory.
I know that there's people out there who collect money in a good they don't. Debt collectors, though, years and years and years and years and years ago, I got in a situation and I started getting these phone calls, and I gotta tell you, if there's anybody I've ever wanted to slap, and then you say, okay, give me your manager, and they're worse, and then give me your other man, worse. It's just worse and worse, and the threats and all this stuff, and it's just like, finally it was
it's
just
designed to frighten people. It's designed to intimidate and frighten you so that you are feeling overwhelmed and you are.
And the funny thing is, and it wasn't a huge amount of money, and the person goes, we can ruin your credit, and I just laughed. It's like,
Go for
you're
it.
a little late, mister. The meanest ones were women. I'm just going to say that.
Look at you.
Anyway.
Wow.
They were mean.
All right.
I did pay everything back. So.
All right, coming up, we've got the Museum for Selfies.
Oh,
I think
you're going to love this.
there's so many people who need to be in this.
It's coming up next.
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink & McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also, all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Apply today and drive away.
It's about dang time this has happened, and of course it's going to happen in L.A. and they're opening a museum next month, and I think we should all flock there. If you like taking selfies, and I know we don't usually, do we? We don't take a lot of selfies.
Not if we can avoid it, no.
No. You know
I already
why?
know what I look like.
Because the camera's too close. My arm's not long enough for the handsome look.
Yeah, you wanted to get much further back.
Selfie Museum opens next month, L.A. Tickets.
I mean, for instance, that's a good selfie. Look, I'm like in Machu Picchu. I'm hiking and stuff, and I look rugged. That's a great. I can go with that. That's a good selfie.
It is a great selfie. It's only $25 to get in the museum.
And then you get to see all the excellent selfies there.
No. You get to take selfies in front of displays that they have set up. That is the main attraction.
Oh, funny. Explain.
Well, the co-founder that came up with this idea because they thought people are like, oh, they like selfies. And art museums are like, nah, art museums. And maybe you'll take a selfie with yourself and the Mona Lisa. But what if you gave them other kinds of places like canyons, rugged canyons, where you're standing on the edge of the abyss and you take a selfie there?
And you actually don't fall off and die, which tends to happen quite a lot
Funny you
nowadays.
should mention that, because there is a whole section in the museum that pays homage to the people who have killed themselves.
They've
by
given their
taking
lives for the perfect selfie.
People have stepped off cliffs.
Buildings, fallen off
People
buildings,
have been
yeah.
like taken away by the ocean, fell into a raging river.
Stomped by animals, yeah.
And they actually have made an area.
You have to. I'm sorry, you have to on principle. Are you kidding?
And it's dedicated, it has a little plaque and everything dedicated to all the people who died doing selfies.
During the noble cause of getting a selfie.
I get $28.50 to get in. Take a selfie of yourself, paying a lot of money to be an idiot. There are people on Facebook and stuff. You know who you are.
There are people who do spectacular selfies, and I admire
This is true.
and am jealous of you because
Yes.
they do. They make, and they're amazing, and they're perfectly done, and they look exciting, and you have a life that looks rich and fulfilling.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start doing, the glamour shots. I'm going to do
A little
With
sexy off shoulder,
with
kind
the
of.
soft fuzziness
and
around.
some misty.
Just kind of like selfies like that. I'm going to do that. It's going to be my goal for today.
Okay.
I don't want to set my things too high.
All right, here's the most interesting reason I've ever seen for assault. Are you ready?
For what?
Florida man.
For assault?
Cocoa Beach police charged Michael Joseph Olasisk with criminal mischief. Now, here's the weird thing. He was at a Wells Fargo bank branch. He was seen on the surveillance video standing at the ATM.
Uh-oh.
And he pummeled the touch screen and started beating the crap and kicking. Right away, got some rocks, started beating the living crap out
You've
of
all
this ATM.
felt that way because you have no money.
Yeah, and you're mad. And everything, except for there was one problem.
What?
He was angry because it gave him too much money.
Oh, that old what?
Yeah. He said it gave it too much money, so he started beating the living crap out of the ATM. It cost over $5,000 in damages to the machine.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did it give him too much money and he was mad because it was going to overdraw him?
I'm not sure. He said he was angry because the ATM gave him too much money. He didn't know what to do. And so he was in a hurry for work and couldn't wait for the bank to open, although he took enough time, I guess, to beat the crap out of the ATM.
$5,000 worth of, yeah.
And because it gave him too much money.
It's like he didn't ask his friend for money and his friend gave him an extra $5. That would have turned ugly.
I guess.
He seems so normal looking.
I know, right? But apparently we missed the crazy in there
He
somewhere.
doesn't like the tech industry. I read this briefly about sexist.
Well, you think about it, the tech industry has a history of sexism and misogyny. There's a lot of problems. And they've tried, a lot of the bigger groups have tried to be bigger and better about this and make a difference. But here's one of the problems they had. They're actually personally responsible for a portion of the sex trade industry of
Trafficking?
sex workers and sex trafficking.
Why?
They actually got, the publication Newsweek got their hand on a slew of emails sent from brothels and pimps to employees at Microsoft. And it was unbelievable. The vast majority were from Microsoft. There was some Amazon.com accounts and then a couple more like Boeing and Oracle, some local Seattle tech firms. And what they were finding, they collected all this during a sting operation.
Right.
And they found that these people were knowingly spending money on brothels in places where they knew that they were sex trafficking victims. And that there was clear communication going back and forth at work. These were at work emails, setting up meetings and assignations and actually sending sex workers to the corporation and bringing them back again at work. So this
Can
is
I
like,
say, though, I would think that this could be in any business, this kind of behavior. I mean,
this was an over-the-top pattern.
Really?
And
Okay.
that was one of the reasons that it made such a huge buzz in Seattle this week,
Right.
is they're like, this can't be happening.
because it all matters.
Because
obviously.
it was insane, and it was the fact that the pattern was so deliberate that it was going to places where there was sex trafficking
That's
and
crazy.
workers from other countries.
That's crazy.
And that it was all done at work, that you're creating all of your sex activity with illegal operations at work. And that's why it made such a huge buzz.
I got it.
So Microsoft and Oracle both, they haven't said anything from Amazon.com before
You know they're
yet.
scrambling.
But Microsoft and Oracle have already made statements going, anyone who's still here is now fired. We're
Right.
going to give all their information to the police to prosecute them.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting and well done. And because these are all at work emails, and they basically said if you were involved in illegal activity at work, I can
Right.
absolutely invade your privacy, and I will send every work related email to the police. So they're hoping that takes a stance that might discourage it, but wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was harsh.
This is an interesting thing. Hang on to it before we play it. What would you do? This is an episode of What Would You Do?
Okay.
So I'm going to put you in Africa right now. I'm going to make you a tour guide, South Africa Park. He's got his bunch of people there.
Does he have the hat? Because you
He's-
can't be a tour guide if you don't have the hat.
He's got the tan shorts. And
You got to have the hat.
It's really important to have tan shorts, and I'll show you
Well,
why.
yeah.
And you have your tourist group behind you, and then you run into an elephant, and this is what happens.
I want to see this. He's got the hat.
He does have the hat.
That elephant's closer than I'm comfortable with.
He's a male.
And he's continuing to walk closer.
He's not happy, and he thinks the guy with a good hat might be a threat.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's moving faster and holding my
yeah,
and he's not moving.
Whoa, Mamma mia!
He seriously didn't move an inch when this thing was. Oh my God!
Oh, a stick.
Really?
Yes. Oh my God.
He got the elephant to back off by waving a stick.
Uh huh.
Wow.
Look at him just stand off.
Okay, that's a whole elephant.
gosh,
How much
all
do
right.
they weigh? I mean, when they charge.
Doesn't matter. The flattening weight. That's
Wow.
it. And
Notice
so
how he's
the,
kind of turned his head like, "Yeah, I wasn't interested in you anyway.
and the elephant realized he
I have
wasn't a
other-
threat.
I've got other stuff to do now.
Hey, I gotta go. I think
So
my
I-
mom's calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it done. Oh my God!
Oh, I'm just pooping my pants at this point. The first one I peed, that one I
Wow.
pooped. Yeah. Holy crap.
I've never seen anyone with nerves of steel like that. I mean, he was motionless.
My friend got charged by a black bear and he stopped 4 feet away from him. That's worse.
Much.
That's
Yeah.
worse. And look at him. He's like, yeah, I'm a
okay.
badass.
Kinda.
The tour guide is like, saved your lives again. There you go. What
I'm
would you
sorry.
do?
I would be on the ground screaming.
No,
Incoherent.
you wouldn't be screaming. You'd be flat.
Yeah, I also would have
Yeah.
wet myself by then, hoping that at least I smelled badly enough that the elephant would take pity on me or something. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so when you're at work today and someone trips with a cup of coffee, what would you do? All right, there you go. You guys have a great day. It's Todd and Erin Morning Stream on GetParkDaily.com.